and sometimes it's also IPCC. So real quick show of hands, how many folks have come out to iPads in the classroom community meeting before? And what about ELT meetings? So I don't need to waste too much time. You know, we meet the third Fridays of the month. You know the agenda for the day. We kind of have an action-packed session planned for the day. I'm out of breath, so I ran to my office and came back here. But I'll go ahead and let Cory Tressler kick off our meeting. He's educational technologist from the Office of Distance Education and eLearning.
Well, hey everyone, welcome. Happy Friday. Excited to talk to you all today, and really we're going to have some visitors via the internet and FaceTime from Cal State University Northridge. In October, I believe, I was fortunate enough to present at the EDUCAUSE conference. I presented a poster with Tom Evans about MOOCs and iTunes U, things we're doing here at Ohio State. It was held in Anaheim, California. So I figured while I was out there, I might as well visit some schools that are doing some really cool stuff. And Cal State University Northridge is one of those schools. They're on the north side of LA. California's education system on higher ed's a little different than ours, where they have a conglomerate of state schools that are all under one thing. Our new president, Michael Drake, is coming from that system in Irvine, which is the south side of LA, which I also was going to try to visit because they have an iPad College of Medicine program, but unfortunately that didn't work out. When I visited Northridge, they were doing a lot of really amazing things, so I thought it'd be really good to share with this group. We've tweeted out and sent out this link to this SlideShare, this presentation that they did. They actually did this a couple of weeks ago at an EDUCAUSE ELI. So the way their program works, and I'm just going to do an overview and then we're going to FaceTime in with them so that you can ask questions, because I'm sure all of you will have many questions. This is the URL for their main website. They have branded it My CSUN Tablet. If you just Google My CSUN Tablet, it will take you to this website as well. They did a lot with branding and sort of marketing to their students. And sort of a little bit about the program, there's such a lag here, is they've started with 7 majors. So it was a very directed program at specific areas of the university. They have about 70 faculty in the program now, and about 44 of the faculty have went through their training and everything. You can see their enrollment numbers are pretty high. It's pretty large university in that system. And what they did, and they can sort of answer some of the specifics, but English, biology, some very specific programs adopted into this. And one thing that they did was, which is an interesting approach, is the students buy the iPads. They're not provided by Cal State University Northridge. The students are required to buy the iPads as part of the program. So for a lot of people that throws up some red flags. It's another $500, let's say, that the students have to pay for. But they do a cost neutrality. So they develop all of their textbooks and all of their materials in-house, so the students that are in that program in that first 3-course sequence don't have to buy anything else for their courses that entire year. So that's the way they're offsetting the cost, and the, from the student point of view is, here's an extra $500 I have to pay for, but on the back end, you don't have to pay for books. And everybody in this room knows the cost of books are pretty high sometimes.
Does it actually come out to an advantage for the student in the end?
That's a really good question. We can ask them in a little bit what they're seeing. But again, I imagine it's very close. In Digital First, we've done some basic cost analysis looking at GEs here at Ohio State. And what we've come up with, if a student does purchase an iPad their freshman year, that first semester, enrolls in GEs like most of our students do their entire freshman year, and shifts to all digital textbooks that are available for those GEs, the cost of the iPad pays for itself in 1 year, because the cost of e-texts are so much cheaper than a physical textbook. So we have seen that on paper. We don't know how many students are doing that here at Ohio State because we haven't made that a requirement by any means, but there definitely are students out there that are trying to take advantage of that, and that's sort of why Cal State is going that way. So this is their little slide on why. A lot of us know some of the whys. We know the ecosystem, we know iTunes U, iBooks, the ADA compliance that is just inherent in an iPad is pretty amazing. These are things they're doing, things that, ideas we've all had, and You know, we're adapting to many of these things, just things that are inherent to the iPad. And again, we've tweeted out this, you can access this. At the bottom of this presentation, they have a really nice set of notes about each slide too that you can read more. Here's their core set of apps, and they do VPP through their university bookstore, which is in their library system. So that's a little different than ours, where our bookstore is operating. But again, these are a core set of apps that many of you have seen and that we really promote a lot of these same apps, except for, of course, Blackboard and Collaborate, since we don't use Blackboard. They kicked it off January of 2013. And one thing that I really like, they did a lot of branding. They actually gave the students these bags and a lot of stylus and things around that, which was a really good touch. There's posters all over their university. But they did extensive training that was extremely flexible for their faculty that are involved. So this is just a snapshot of their calendar. And literally almost every day, there was a session on something for the faculty to attend to get their training in for what they need to know. They do use Moodle and they use Blackboard Collaborate inside of the Moodle LMS ecosystem, but you can see it ranges from, you know, iPad essentials to more advanced tablet features and things like that. So they did a really, really thoughtful job on getting the professional development into the teachers, or the educators. So this is where the payoff is for the student. So if I'm buying a $500 iPad, again, that cost neutrality. Here's just a core set of the books that they created using iBooks Author or some other form to create EPUBs and PDFs or what have you for the textbooks. Wide range of things, and this is just a snapshot of some of them that they've developed. They did a giveaway of Apple Care to their students. The first 500 did get Apple Care, and they purchased similar to Wired Out here. They can go right to their bookstore and purchase all of this. Again, very similar to Ohio State with Buckeye Bar. They have an on-site support system, and we have 8 Help, very similar. Again, very similar to Ohio State. Athletics now has all iPads at that university as well. And one really interesting thing that I like is they expanded to advising. So all of their academic advisors across the campus have iPads so that they're more mobile and nimble when they're meeting with students, which is a really, really great idea. There. This is an example of some student engagement. I've seen this quite a few times, a sort of Jeopardy, interactive Jeopardy sort of in-class assignment. They're doing mappings of seats. If any of you have seen Learning Catalytics, Matthew Stoltz-Foos uses that pretty extensively. It's a very, very powerful student response system. It does this. So I don't know if they're using Learning Catalytics to capture this, but I think there's a couple other different things about that. But I'm pretty sure this is Learning Catalytics because I believe these are the answers to their questions on their polling. So you can see who got the right answer, sort of a heat map. Again, if you've never seen Learning Catalytics, one of the really cool features, you know, these 2 students right here got it correct. Learning Catalytics would send a message to that student that's in the middle in red, say, turn to your right, Cory's sitting to your right, talk to him about your answer. And then they discuss sort of that peer review and peer sort of education standpoint. And the research shows that when they poll again, the student that got it correct was able to persuade, if you will, the student that got it wrong, why they were wrong and what the right answer is. So these are really interesting. When they set out to do this, and I encourage you to ask questions about this too when we FaceTime in a minute or so, they really started doing research around this from day one. So what is the impact? So they're not requiring 100% of their students to do this, but in this case, they actually have a control group of no iPads that are simultaneously being taught with the iPad group. They're not in the same room, if you will, but they're in 2 different sections, one with and one without. And they're starting to analyze what the no iPad classroom is doing in comparison to the iPad. Their initial results are showing the iPads are making a difference in student learning. And again, this is an intro biology class, which is a GE, so they're seeing some really nice results in their percentiles. And again, this is all online. And again, this is from that same biology class, sort of a pre-no, is for a questionnaire, no iPad, and then it's pretty amazing on the iPad side, they got all the answers correct in comparison to the students with no iPads. So pretty interesting initial sort of first level, first year data from this course in biology. Again, they're surveying their students pretty extensively. So I think at this point, unless there's any questions for me, I would like to FaceTime in and get them on the phone to talk about what they're doing. Is that okay with everybody? Cool. Just take a second, hopefully. Hopefully the sound will work. Hey, how's it going?
Good morning.
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to flip you around so you can see the audience here. Hopefully.
Wow.
Big group.
Oh, whoops. We got a delay on our side. There it goes.
Oh my.
Oh, there's me again. Sorry.
Well, that's a big group.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, great. So I gave them a little overview via your slide share from your ELI presentation. And sort of just to start off, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, and then I thought we could do a Q&A with the crowd.
Absolutely. So good morning, everybody. It's great to, quote, be here with you. So I'm Dionne Zell, the Senior Director for Academic Technology, and I was formerly a faculty member in the College of Business and Economics, so I come from a faculty perspective. And I'll turn it over to Ernie.
Sure. Good morning. Ernie Perez, Director of Instructional Technologies. Anything to do with the technology side for instructional technologies.
Great. So who has questions for the crowd here, or for our friends in Cal State University Northridge? Joel.
Yes, how did the faculty get the iPads?